when my mom passed away, my motorcycle was my therapy. So it was very traumatic. It was very sudden. People don't like talking about their mental health.
Very true.
Yes, especially in our community, the bike community.
You got to be tough. You got to show that tough image, right? That I got my stuff
too.
together.
Yeah, it is okay to not be okay. Everybody has something they're going through all the time.
Yes.
Safe space for community to talk about how they feel, because
Learning that they're not alone.
yeah, they're
learning that there are people out there that are willing to listen.
Yeah.
And willing to be there.
988 is a number that you can call, you can text, you can even go online and chat with them now. And a lot of people don't like to talk on the phone, so you can text them, and that's the pretty neat thing. You're not alone, whatever it is going. Somebody somewhere has gone through very similar things as well.
Everybody knows your story. Everybody respects your story.
Yes.
Respects your journey. So today I have an awesome guest here in our newest exhibit that we're going to be opening up soon. And we're currently in our United We Stand, United We Signed exhibit. And I'm joined with Stephanie Lopez from Throttle and Therapy. Welcome, Stephanie.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming. So I met you at a car show.
Yes.
And it's only been a couple weeks that I met you. Mm-hmm. And I wasn't sure what it was at first, the name. But when I got to talk to you, I thought, this is amazing and the world needs to know about it, right? So tell me a little bit more about Throttle and Therapy and how long you guys have been around.
So Throttle and Therapy actually started last June. So we just hit our first year. It started as, we honestly didn't know the community was going to grow so much around us. It started as a place of grief and love. I ride motorcycles. My husband rides motorcycles. He has a Corvette, and we're all about like the cars and motorcycles. And when my mom passed away, my motorcycle was my therapy. And we're both in the mental health field. And then I was talking to him one day, and I realized people don't like talking about their mental health.
Very true.
Yes, especially in our community, the car community, the bike community.
Well, because you got to be tough. You got to show that tough image, right? That I got my stuff together.
Yeah, and honestly, the majority are male, right?
Mm-hmm.
Male riders, male car drivers, and males usually don't like to open up about their mental health. So we were like, you know what? Let's just start this to have a safe space for community to talk about how they feel, because it is okay to not be okay. Everybody has something they're going through all the time.
Yes.
And you might put the tough face that nothing is going on in my life, but everybody's gone through something. So Throttle and Therapy started from like grief from my mom, and just wanting to bring something out to the community where they found a safe space and a community where they can talk to about their mental health or how they're feeling, or just somebody, like we have friends that they just call us and they're like, I'm not feeling good, or we have group chats where they're like, today is just terrible, and we just start talking about it, and they end up learning that everybody else is going through something too.
They're learning that they're not alone.
Yeah, they're
learning that there are people out there that are willing to listen.
Yeah.
And willing to be there.
Yes.
Like-minded people, right?
Yes.
So you can sit there and talk about your cars, and you can, rev your engines, and then you can calm down that engine and say, oh, by the way, I'm going through this right now.
Yeah. And we've had at the car meets, we have so many people that come and they're like, I love that name. Yes, my car is my therapy. Sometimes people call it wind therapy. And it's nice because sometimes we just go and meet people like you, and they just start telling us their stories about how their cars are their therapy, how they started riding, how they got into the car community. And it's just being a community that just kept growing from there.
Amazing. So I know when I was talking to you, what really stood out to me and resonated with me is that you were saying that you have an organization also, your organization also opens up now to veterans, especially people suffering from PTSD. I myself am a PTSD sufferer, and I'm also a veteran, obviously. So, there's a lot of things that resonated when you spoke to that, right? I was like, oh, Do I have to be in cars to be part of Throttle and Therapy?
No. Just this is why we also started it. It's a safe community. If you don't have a car, you don't have a motorcycle, it's okay. Just come and hang out with us, right? But yeah, with the veterans community, we've done several events to the PTSD Foundation, and I know they're opening. Well, they have Camp Hope, and they're opening a camp for women as well.
Oh, great.
It was in the works. I'm not sure it's finished or not, but we like to go to those events. A lot of our shirts or hoodies that have the 988 number, which is the suicide crisis hotline of the United States, we do give back to 988, a percentage of that. And then some of our brand ambassadors are also veterans. We have two of them who are veterans. They have gone to war. They both suffer from PTSD. They both suffer from grief. And one recently also had his wife passing away. And, we've been, that community tour is like, hey, just come here. It's okay, and he gets to open up and he gets to joke around and be himself around us without, having to be tough in front of everyone. So I love that they're open to share their stories with us, and they're open to tell us about some parts of what happened in war, or, the things that they've seen and the things that they're going through. So yeah, we're big about bringing awareness to the community about the resources that are out there as well. Here in Texas, there are places that are called the local IDD authority, which are the LIDAs. Each county has one, and there is some of them have a department specific for veterans, and then there's departments that are specific for PTSD or just mental health. Mm-hmm. So for Harris County is the Harris Center. For Montgomery County, Walker, and Liberty counties is Tri-County Behavioral Health Care, and they do have what they call the psychiatric unit there as well. If you know someone, or if the person is going through suicidal thoughts or just going through some mental breakdowns or anything, they can go there and they'll get evaluated, and they'll let you know, like, hey, we'd like them to stay for a 3-day program or a longer program, and each county has that here in Texas.
Wow. So what I just heard was an amazing amount of resources that you have access to. So if you're not part of Throttle and Therapy, or somebody that is struggling with mental health, you can actually contact Throttle and Therapy and get the assistance you need for somebody else?
We'll give them the resources.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah, that's amazing, because I think half the battle that we have in our community is not knowing where our resources lie.
Yes.
And the fact that if I can just always keep in my mind Throttle and Therapy, Throttle and Therapy, Throttle and Therapy, and the next time I come across somebody who happens to be a friend, or maybe somebody out on the street that you don't even know, and they're struggling in that moment, and they just happen to open up about something small to you, you can just maybe be like, maybe you need to talk to someone at Throttle and Therapy, or maybe they can make a phone call for their friend and say, hey, I have this friend that is talking about suicide, or is talking about some things that are very traumatic for them, and they're going through some really hard stuff right now. Can I give them your phone number, or what kind of resources can you provide me to give to them in hopes that they will take advantage of the resources?
Yeah, absolutely. We have obviously our social media, and we have just random people like, hey, I really need help, or hey, I've been going through this. And usually it's like my husband and I, and he knows all about 988 and the resources as well, so he tries to help as well. But yeah, sometimes, a lot of the times, like, even if they're not in Texas or if they don't know, 988 is a number that you can call, you can text, you can even go online and chat with them now. And a lot of people don't like to talk on the phone, so you can text them, and that's the pretty neat thing. And you don't have to be going it through yourself. If you know someone and you don't know how to help them, you can reach out to them as well, and they'll guide you and they'll give you the resources as well.
Wow. So 988,
Yes.
we all know 911 is the emergency number, but 988 is your hotline for mental health, basically.
It's the suicide crisis hotline of the United States. Yes.
Wow. Okay. So everyone remember 988
Yes.
because that is also a very important number to keep
Yes.
in your mind,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
Or put it into your phone, 988
too.
mental
Yes.
health crisis
Yeah.
line, right? Wow. That's truly, and when I was talking to you at the car show, you were like, oh, 988. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I remember the VA gives me a crisis number, but I don't remember it. And I kid you not, I went straight home and I looked it up, and sure enough,
Yeah.
it said, oh, it is 988.
Yes. And that's,
and I'll never forget it now
yeah,
because I had that moment of not remembering it.
Yes.
You told it to me. I questioned it. I researched it. And yes, it is 988.
Yeah. And that's why a lot of people, they're like, what is the number on the sleeve of the hoodies? I'm like, it's 988. Or sometimes I just like to ask people, are you familiar with 988? I would say 90% of the time people are like, no, what is that? And they're like, oh, once I give them information, they're like, okay, that's good to know, And like, hopefully they never get to use it, but if they do, it's right there for them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And sometimes, unfortunately, we hear of people that actually committed suicide because they didn't have the opportunity, or they weren't strong enough to reach out and tell
Yes.
somebody what they were really dealing with. And then you do have some people that are dealing with their stuff, but it's just too much, and they still, unfortunately commit suicide.
Yes.
And so if I have somebody who died from suicide, and I myself as a survivor is struggling, is 998 a resource for me at that time, or where might I go to get some assistance with the person who's suffering from a loved one who committed suicide?
Agreed. So I do know 988, like I said, is not just a suicide line, it's also a crisis line, it's a mental health line. So they can also give you
because
resources.
now they have mental health issues
Yes,
because
yes.
somebody that they love committed suicide.
And you're going through grief and all of that.
Great.
And obviously, you're everybody goes through it differently, but you can reach out to them as well. But there are other resources as well, depending on where you're at. Like me, like when my mom passed, I looked up online and I was like, what is out there for me? My mom, long story short, my mom went missing on a September 13th, and we found her 2 days later inside a manhole. So it was very traumatic. It was very sudden. So, some people prepare for somebody's death, but there's instances like mine that is just a shock. And where do you go? Who do you talk to? So there were groups, sometimes even Facebook groups, there is like grieving moms, and you just put your story there and you feel like everybody's actually listening to you and nobody's judging you for being sad, for crying for 2-3 months in a row. So there's a lot of resources also, like Facebook, social media, and there are grief groups in town as well. There's even groups for when you lose your pets, because I have gone to it as well. So there's a lot out there.
There's so many faces to grief, right? And I think there's a lot of people that sometimes, even some of our listeners now, may think, I'm not grieving. Yeah. I got my stuff together. I don't have any mental health issues. But I think that I would challenge everybody to look back into their life and say, you know what, I might have lost somebody. Maybe I have grief that I haven't resolved yet. And I think that somewhere in our lifetime, all we want to do is have our feelings and emotions validated, right? Validated that we're feeling this and it's okay. Validated that I've gone through this and I'm not imagining it. Validated that I'm still feeling this way and I still can.
Yes.
And so it sounds like that Throttle and Therapy is that safe space that people can get that validation they need, no matter what stage of grief they're in, no matter how old that time has passed or how long that time has passed since you've had a loss. Even a divorce is grief.
Yes.
So people going through a natural disaster and losing their home and all their goods, that's grief. The nation at war, that's grief. Yeah. So anything that upsets your normal day-to-day routine can create grief.
Yes.
And knowing that it doesn't have to be PTSD. It doesn't have to be the loss of a family member or a child or a pet. There's so many faces to grief. And so you're telling me Throttle and Therapy handles all of it.
Well, we give out the resources and we're there to talk to people. Yes.
Right. So like I can come to you and say, I lost my cat and I want to just talk about it.
Yeah.
And you guys are just hanging about, and
Yeah.
maybe there's somebody else in the group that lost their cat, and you can
Yes.
link me up with them,
And
right?
that's usually how it goes. Usually it's like, this has happened to me. We're like, hey, you know, I know this other person, you know. A couple months back, we had a friend who was having suicidal thoughts and everything, who is also a veteran. And I talked to one of my ambassadors. I'm like, hey, will you be willing to talk to them? And he said, yes, I'm all open for it, you know. So it's always a connection. You're not alone on whatever it is going. Somebody somewhere has gone through very similar things as well.
Yeah. So you and I also were talking the other day, and you were telling me that you guys want to open a cafe as kind of like a safe space. You know, we're talking about a safe space online. We're talking about a safe space over the phone. But you're actually wanting to create this space for people to actually come and have the opportunity to just sit and just be in this space together, but it's more of an uplifting space that you want to create, kind of like a place to have a cup of coffee or have some drinks, not alcoholic, right?
In the future, we will be doing beer and wine, but
great.
yes, so we are actually in the works for it, and we're all about community. Once again, community has built us, so we want to give back to the community. So it will be a place where we have events like trivia night and book nights and something for everyone, right? And we're welcoming running clubs and just and it's going to be motorcycle car themed as well,
Of course.
so welcoming to that
Because
community.
that's what created Throttle and
Yes,
Therapy. So
yes.
you got to give that homage or that tribute to to what the root of it, right?
Yes,
It's the cars, it's the motorcycles, but it's so much more.
Yes,
Yeah.
and that's why we're also having, we're calling it the memorial room, where we'll be, obviously the first one there will be my mom. If it wasn't because of her, we wouldn't be here. But we will be honoring our fallen riders and fallen veterans as well. There will be a link to where people can go and send us information about the person, and we'll put their name up there on the memorial wall. So yeah, you know, it's something that for the community, and we want that to be a safe space as well for everyone.
So you guys are a nonprofit?
No.
No.
Not yet.
Yeah, so you're a for-profit
Yes.
organization.
Yes.
So, but are you looking for people to help with donations to help make this dream come true for the community?
And that's the thing. We don't even ask, and people are like, here, take this. Here, I have this, you know? And that has been one of the things that my husband told me one day. He's like, you need to start accepting your blessings.
Exactly.
Because I was like, they're giving us this, and I feel bad. And they're like, no, take it because it's for a good cause. This is for this. You know, sometimes we do like the giveaways for Throttle Therapy, and people are like, here, just buy whatever you need with this money. You know, they want to support us without even having to ask. And that's something that's been really, really great to learn, that we are making an impact and people are willing to just help us like that as well.
So if our listeners want to help support you, how can they get in contact with you, and what are some of the ways they can give support?
Yeah, so if they want to help for Throttle Therapy, honestly, I would say go directly to 998 and donate there. They're there. They speak with a licensed psychologist or a counselor, and they work off the nations. But if you are wanting to help, just contact us. Sometimes we need help with just like setting up and putting down.
Well, we also need help creating your space, right?
Yes,
Your safe
yes.
space, the
Yeah.
building, and getting it together and getting it off the ground, right? Because
Yes.
that's still part of the dream of
Yes.
Throttle and Therapy, is having a place for the community. So
Yes.
you also need help in getting that established. So
That is right.
do you
yeah.
have a website that they can go on?
So
or?
we do have our social media. Our website is in the final touches,
Okay.
but our social media on Facebook, you can follow us at Cold Start Coffee or Throttle and Therapy. There's several Throttle therapies, but you will see the one with the motorcycle or the logo. And then on Instagram, we're at coldstartcoffee.tx.
Cold Start
Cold Start
Coffee at
Yes.
TX.
That's TX.
Dot
And that
TX.
is also for our TikTok. And then for Throttle and Therapy, same thing is throttle _ and _ therapy _
So the word and, or is it?
And.
Yeah,
Yes,
A-N-D.
Yes.
So Throttle underscore and therapy.
Underscore therapy.
Underscore therapy.
Yes.
Okay. Throttle and underscore therapy.
Yes.
And so, and of course, you know, if you guys, you know, are afraid of not having the right throttle in therapy, you can always reach the museum, because I really believe in what you're trying to accomplish for the community. I think it's an amazing concept. We have to be able to provide safe spaces. I see all the time, you know, the most constant thing in life is change, right? And our environment here in the greater Houston area is always changing.
Yes.
All the time. And you know, there's places that we've come to love, and then it moves or it changes, and it gets replaced by something that I will never use, right? But here we're wanting to create something that will be used hopefully by many people, whether they're grieving or not. It's just a place to come together, kind of like Cheers, right? You know that bar Cheers?
No.
Oh, of course not. So there's a place called Cheers, right?
Okay.
It's a bar, and it used to be a TV show, and it's like here, it's like Everybody Knows Your Name. That's the theme song. Everyone knows your name.
Yes.
And it was just a place that everyone came together, and they really just talked about their life problems. And so with that being said, that's what's coming to my mind, is that you're creating an environment where people come in and everybody knows your name.
Yeah.
Everybody knows your story. Everybody respects your story.
Yes.
Respects your journey. You get to know like-minded people. You get to hang out with people that relate to you.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's what I can envision it as being, is a great space. And it's just, it's not a restaurant. It's not a bar. It's Throttle and Therapy. It's a place to come and sit back, get to know new people. Yeah. Yeah. I think that's amazing. We need more places like that in our city. And I understand it's going to be up in the northern part of Houston, correct?
Yes,
that's where you're looking.
Off Lued and TC Jester. Yes.
Off Lued and TC Jester.
Hopefully open at the end of next month.
Ooh. Well, we're just going to have to come and do a live podcast when you open up there.
Yeah, for sure. It's a full build out. So, you know, permits and construction always has its setbacks and everything. But we're doing our final touches and then, you know, sending for permits. And hopefully we'll be open by the next month, if not September.
Just like I'm doing my final touches on this exhibit that we're standing in. Yes, I understand about final touches. Thank you. But yeah, I am so happy that you're here. I think, you know, I always say everything happens for a reason.
Yes.
You know, and I haven't gone to that car show in like a long time, right? Yeah. And that day I went to that car show, I met you, and look what came out of it weeks later, you know, and if I can be an advocate for Throttle and Therapy, count me in. I'm here for you. So,
thank you for sure.
Again, any of our listeners want to learn more about Throttle and Therapy, you can reach out to Stephanie Lopez, or you can reach out to the museum at contact@nmfh.org, and I will make sure that Stephanie gets your message. So, Stephanie, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.